So today is August 29, 2019. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. So as a reminder, this meeting is public recorded and published on YouTube. On the agenda today, we are going to go over 1.16 planning. We're going to go over the items that we've committed to for this quarter. Important dates to remember: today is code freeze by end of day. If you have anything that we've committed to for the quarter, we have to make sure that we've got it merged by end of day. And then the next upcoming deadlines are going to be docs must be completed by September 9th, and then the release goes out on the 16th. If there's anything else that you want to discuss during this meeting, feel free to add to the agenda. The link is in your invite. Any PRs that you want to discuss, design reviews, or miscellaneous. One item that we might want to talk about is the face-to-face meeting, but we might save that for the next meeting. Okay, let's get started. There are not as many people on the call as usual, so we may not be able to get status updates for everything, but let's give it a shot. So first item is CSI migration to beta. Can David, Chang, or Deep give an update on that? David is not on the line. Deep is not on the line. Chang, do you want to give an update? Okay, no worries. So as far as I understand, we're deciding to hold off on moving this to beta. The reasoning behind it is that the shims for individual drivers are still alpha. And so since the dependency is still alpha, it's weird to move the feature to beta without those dependencies also being beta. The beta was going to be an opt-in beta anyway, so there's not a huge impact in keeping it in alpha for now, and then we'll reassess and likely move it to beta next quarter. Next item is online-offline resizing, volume expansion to beta for CSI. Hemant, you want to give an update here?
Yeah, we got it merged, so this was done.
Cool. Any remaining outstanding work here?
Yeah, there's a work that I'm working on about fixing the resizing, CSI resizing of multi-attached read-write volumes. I'm working on it. We'll try to get this as a bug fix, but it's not a merge must-have items.
Is this on external resizer?
No, it'll go in the kubelet actually.
Okay.
So the issue that Ben was talking about in the CSI call, except Ben issue was talking about read only was the problem, but read write we can fix without making a change in CSI spec.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next item is moving the mount library to external common repo. Travis has been awesome here and sent out tons of PRs. I don't see him on the call. So I think the current status is lots of progress made, but won't be complete this quarter. We'll keep that work going and hopefully finish up in the next quarter. Next item is per volume attach limits. Hemant or Jan, do you want to give an update here?
Yeah, so in this quarter, we didn't have much to do in this, except we added some E2E tests to that really test the limit up to the nodes that can support the maximum limit. So Jan added some tests, we got it merged, and yeah, that's pretty much actually. There's some movement about like how users can override it, and I think we should look into that, solving that next quarter.
Okay, sounds good. Next item is block volume support, which we plan to keep in beta this quarter, but fix a number of bugs. Looks like Jan was working on this as well. Last status was the known iSCSI bug was fixed and there was tests being added. Any updates on that from either Jan, Brad, or anyone else?
I did see that fix go in. I have yet to run my my tests on it, so this is a good reminder for me to go break out my old tests and test this new fix.
Okay. So let's call it no update. All right, next item is scalability testing. Any updates here? Okay, we will leave that one unupdated and we'll get an update next time. Next item is volume namespace transfer. I don't think John is on the line. I believe he was out of office this week on vacation. As far as I understand, I have not seen any progress here. But the goal here was designed for the quarter, so we still have a month left to finish up on the design. Hopefully we can get some progress here before the end of the quarter. Next item is new design for volume permission handling, and then hand in hand with that is revisiting UID, GID handling, and file permissions for Windows. Any updates on any three of those?
No, we still have. We still have time to work on this, right? I mean, we're not actually. It's a design. It's not code that we're trying to land.
Yeah, we still have time until the end of the quarter since these are design items. Hopefully we can get some progress.
I meant to set up a call this week. We had OpenShift planning. It's been kind of a chaos.
Cool, no worries. Next item is volume expansion for stateful sets. Last update here was the KEP was almost merged. Any updates on that, Hemant?
Yeah, so the KEP has LGTM approved. I think it needs a little review from API side because we are relaxing a requirement that the volume claim templates in stateful set objects could be edited like they were immutable before. So we need someone from API team like Jordan or someone to LGTM it. But it's been approved by SIG apps. It's been approved by SIG Storage. It's ready for implementation.
Okay. That sounds good. Next item is CSI volume health. Shing, any updates on this?
So we haven't got any more review comments after Nick updated the spec. So it's been a while.
Okay. So folks, please take a look if you're interested in this design. And if not, maybe we can have a separate meeting to discuss it or something like that to get some progress on it. Or we can punt it to next quarter.
Okay.
Next item is CSI entry read-only handling. I think John did not get a chance to work on this, so I'm going to mark this as no updates. Next item is alpha beta GA designation for CSI spec. This is same as last time. There are CSI spec features that are currently pending, and we're going to decide on a case-by-case basis which one of them will go through this process. Next item is the storage proxy for Windows for CSI. I don't know if Deep joined or someone who can give an update here. Anyone on the line able to give an update on the Windows work? Okay, so I know they were able to start a new work group for the Windows storage work, and they've been meeting regularly. Hopefully there's been good progress, but no update in this meeting. We can follow up with them offline. Next item is snapshots to beta. So Sheng, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we have made a lot of progress, but because there are just so many things we need to get in, and there are dependencies, we just couldn't get everything in by code freeze. So I think this one will be delayed until next quarter. But since we have done a lot of work, hopefully we can get it merged early next quarter.
Yeah, and I want to thank Xing and Sean and Jing for all their work on this. This is extremely impressive, the amount of work that they got done. It's kind of upsetting that we weren't able to land it this quarter, but this we'll deal with that, and we'll get it in next quarter as soon as possible. So thank you, Xing.
Thanks.
Next item is volume cloning, which is what John was working on. That did get merged. And so I think the follow-up here is going to be documentation. And I need to ask about verify if the tests are there. I believe they're already there, but I need to double check.
Oh, the API was sorted for the volume source?
Yes, so the data source discussion, so for those who don't have context on this, there was a discussion earlier this week. Both snapshots and volume cloning use a field in the PVC called data source, which specifies what source to use to populate that volume. In the future, we're planning to open that up to generic data populators and potentially making those data populators independent of the storage system that provisions the volume. And the proposal on the table was to split out the definition of the data source from the PVC into a separate object for a number of reasons. And the problem with that was if we decided to do that, then we would have to hold off on moving both snapshots and cloning to beta until we got that proposal approved, built as alpha, and moved to beta. So we're looking at a 6 to 9 month delay on these other features. And so after lots of discussion, what we decided to land on was it doesn't make sense to block all the hard work that's been going on here. We're going to pursue that as a third type in addition to volume cloning and snapshots on the existing inline data source. And the implications of that are if it ends up going to GA, that we would have two ways to be able to specify volume cloning and volume snapshots, basically inline as well as a separate object, which is not the best solution, but it's the pragmatic approach of I don't think it makes sense to block these existing designs while we figure out whether we even want to do that or not. So that was where we landed there, and that meant that both cloning as well as snapshots were unblocked.
Cool.
Saad, just
Yes.
to be clear, right? The stateful set is still yet to be resolved, right?
So stateful set and generic data populators as well as volume source, all three of those discussions are going to happen in conjunction with each other. They're very related. So we decided to punt on all three of those.
Yeah, my question is actually for the current model for both cloning and the snapshot restoring. What's the is there any documentation training people how to do recovery for a stateful set from a snapshot?
The closest thing that we have is Yinan's application snapshot and restore KEP. And in that KEP, basically what he proposes is backing up the PVC object and then manipulating it when it's being recreated to modify the data source. I don't think that's a very clean solution, but that's currently what's on the table.
So is that KEP actually merged or is still in progress?
Yes, as far as I can tell, that KEP is merged.
Gotcha.
Okay, so ephemeral inline volume support. Patrick, or if Michelle happens to be on the line, can you give an update?
Yes, all of the PRs are in the queue.
Sweet. All right, so good progress there. Next item is CSI topology. Where are we? CSI topology prep for GA. Michelle?
Yeah, we did not get anything in for 116, but we've started on all of the items, so we should be in good shape for 117.
Okay. All right, next item is CSI driver prep for GA, skip attach, and pod info. This is the CSI driver object.
No work was done for 116. It sounds like there are some people that plan to work on it for 117 though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look at this item, and we have some people who want to work on this for 117.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next item is improve CSI metrics. Sean or Michelle?
It is still under review. There were some comments made by Michelle and Herman. Basically, it's a big change. So Herman's idea is probably to go back and revisit the idea, maybe file prep for that. And there are still concerns around how the cache should be managed. Right now, it's a kind of a little bit messy since this is end-to-end metrics to be reported. The PI is still under review. I think this item will just slip to 1.17, given the fact that I was focusing on the snapshot.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like progress is being made, slow and steady, but we're making progress. Next item is the execution hooks KEP, which should be managed by SIG apps. Does anyone have an update on that?
No.
Okay.
There's no update on this one.
Okay, next item is addressing this issue. We had nobody currently looking at it. I don't think that's changed yet. Has it, Michelle?
No, that's correct. I'm going to add these items to the backlog for the CSI ephemeral volumes work.
Cool. Next item is the volume group API. I don't believe we made progress here either.
So we discussed about it in one of our volume snapshot working group meeting.
Okay.
But we only focused on the first use case, which is group snapshot. I think we need some discussions on other use cases like spreading, maybe even like replication.
Okay. So this was also designed, which means that we have until the end of quarter. So that sounds good to me. Generic populator data source is kind of in the same boat. No conclusion on this yet, needs further discussion, and will be tied to discussion around PVC data source. All right, next item are the CSI drivers, NFS, iSCSI, and Fiber Channel. Any update on any of these three items?
There's no resource for this currently. We need a volunteer.
And then Michelle, I imagine same thing with NFS?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so we'll move that to next quarter, and hopefully we can get volunteers to pick up on these generic CSI drivers and helping them move to something that's much more usable. Next item is post-GA entry topology work. We decided we won't make progress on this quarter. I imagine there's no changes there, Michelle?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll punt that to 1.17. Next item is CSI out of tree, move flex volume or move flex driver to a separate repo. Last status update was that the code was migrated over, but needed to set up CI. We needed a volunteer for this work. Any updates on that? Okay, I'm assuming we have.
Still need the volunteer.
What's that?
We still need a volunteer for it.
Okay, sounds good. And then last item we have is address an issue with PVC created by stateful set not being auto removed when the PVC is or when the stateful set is deleted. I don't believe we've made updates. We've had updates here. Gary, you're not on the line, are you? Okay, so we'll follow up with that. That is all that we have for status updates. Going back to the agenda doc, so reminder for any of the features that we are landing, please make sure to get the docs in as soon as possible. They have to be completed and reviewed by the 9th, which is about a week or so. And if you have features that did not land, please make sure to update the enhancement issue to indicate that it did not land and that we're moving it to 1.17. That lets the release team know that this is not something that they have to track for the release. So that would be the only follow-up work if a feature did not land. So that seems to be it. Is there anything else folks wanted to discuss today? All right, then we're nice and quick. You get half an hour back in your day. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.